The encounter. Captain Alara Voss stood resolutely at the command center of the TSS Valkyrie, her gaze fixed on the holographic display that illuminated the vastness of space before her. The ship, stretching over 4 kilometers from bow to stern, represented humanity's pinnacle achievement in military engineering, a testament to centuries of interstellar exploration and colonization. As she surveyed the stars, a sense of pride welled within her. Humanity had come far from its humble beginnings on Earth. Multiple contacts detected. Lieutenant Marco Reyes announced, his cybernetic enhancements allowing him to process data at lightning speed. His fingers danced across the sensor controls, bringing up detailed readings on the main screen. They're appearing just beyond the Arcturus defense perimeter, count is 75 vessels. None match known configurations in our database. Alara narrowed her augmented eyes, focusing intently on the tactical overlay. The unknown ships moved with a precision that suggested military training and experience. This was no mere exploration, it was an incursion. Analysis of their weapon systems? Alara asked, her voice calm despite the tension building on the bridge. Dr. Lila Chen, the ship's chief weapons officer, responded from her station. Energy signatures indicate directed plasma weapons and some form of quantum torpedoes. There's also an unfamiliar technology we haven't seen before, Captain. The Valkyrie's AI materialized beside Alara as a holographic figure, its voice smooth yet urgent. Captain Voss, I've analyzed their approach vector. They are deliberately positioning themselves to cut off our primary colony routes. This is not a random encounter. Years of command experience helped Alara maintain her composure in this high-stakes situation. Humanity had fought tooth and nail to survive in a universe filled with dangers. They would not be intimidated by unknown aggressors. Open a channel, she ordered firmly. All frequencies, first contact protocols. The response from the alien fleet came swiftly but not in words. 3 smaller vessels broke formation, accelerating toward the Valkyrie with weapons charging. They're not here to talk. Reyes reported, his voice taut with urgency. Alara's expression hardened as she realized their intentions. No, they're here to teach us a lesson. Deploy quantum shields. Bring all defense systems online, let's show them why humanity survived the Great Exodus. The Valkyrie hummed with power as its advanced defensive systems activated. Layers of quantum-shifted energy fields surrounded the ship while hidden weapon ports opened along its hull, revealing an arsenal designed for conflict. Incoming transmission, announced Communications Officer Jenna Lee. Text only, universal mathematical format. The message appeared on screen, submit to evaluation or face extinction. Your species' rapid technological advancement poses an unacceptable risk to galactic stability. A slight smile crossed Alara's face. They weren't the first to underestimate humanity, and they likely wouldn't be the last. Send our response, she commanded decisively. The only evaluation happening today will be your judgment in choosing this course of action. Multiple weapon locks detected. Reyes warned urgently. They're targeting our primary reactor sections, they've done their homework. Alara straightened her uniform, a habit from her academy days, as she prepared for combat. Initiate combat protocols. Tactical, prepare to demonstrate why humanity doesn't fear the dark anymore. The alien vessels opened fire first, their plasma weapons created brilliant streaks across space as they aimed for the Valkyrie's vital systems. But humanity had prepared for this moment. The quantum shields absorbed their attacks without strain, adapting automatically to counteract enemy weapon frequencies. They're impressive, Dr. Chen noted from her station, but they're fighting with textbook tactics, no imagination or adaptation. Show them how humanity fights, Alara ordered firmly. Tactical has weapons free, selective targeting only. Let's give them a chance to reconsider their choices. Quantum phase beams lanced out from concealed ports on the Valkyrie, striking one of the lead vessel's propulsion systems with surgical precision. The enemy shields crumbled under direct hits, offering no more resistance than tissue paper. 3 enemy vessels disabled. Reyes reported, unable to hide his satisfaction as he noted their swift defeat. As the remaining vessels held position, another transmission came through, a full-spectrum communication this time. The main screen illuminated with an image of an alien bridge where a tall being with iridescent scales stared back at them in disbelief. Its expression conveyed surprise even through its many eyes. "This is impossible," it exclaimed, its words translated seamlessly by their AI interface. "Your technology, you cannot have advanced this far so quickly." "This is Captain Alara Voss of the TSS Valkyrie," she replied firmly but diplomatically. "We've advanced exactly as far as we needed to survive. Now shall we discuss this situation like rational beings, or do you need further demonstration of humanity's capabilities?" The alien commander's scales shifted color, a sign that their cultural database indicated deep thought or concern. "Perhaps we have made an error in judgment," it admitted slowly. "You understand that we must protect our quadrant from potentially destabilizing forces." "We understand protection," Alara replied evenly. "We also understand cooperation, the choice of which path we take today is yours." As diplomatic exchanges began in earnest, Alara couldn't help but reflect on an ironic twist. Humanity had spent centuries preparing for threats from unknown entities only to realize that their greatest asset was not merely advanced technology or powerful weapons but rather their capacity to turn potential enemies into allies through strength tempered with wisdom. The stars watched silently as ancient prejudices began to give way to new possibilities. Humanity took another step forward in its journey among them, ready for whatever came next in this vast universe filled with both danger and opportunity. This concludes Part 1 of First Contact Turned Disaster, Earth's Warship Dominates Galactic Invaders. Each subsequent part will build upon this foundation as tensions rise and new alliances form amidst chaos in space exploration and warfare. The battle begins. The atmosphere on the TSS Valkyrie shifted from cautious optimism to a tense anticipation as the crew prepared for the impending conflict. Captain Alara Voss stood at the helm, her mind racing through tactical scenarios while her eyes remained fixed on the holographic display. The alien fleet had retreated to a safe distance after their initial skirmish, but she knew that their withdrawal did not signify a resolution. Instead, it was merely a pause before the storm. "Captain, we've received updated readings from our sensors," Lieutenant Marco Reyes reported, his fingers flying across the console. "The alien vessels are reorganizing and appear to be adapting their shield frequencies to counter our quantum phase beams." "Good," Alara replied, her voice steady. "That means they're learning. We need to stay one step ahead of them." Dr. Lila Chen, the ship's chief weapons officer, chimed in. "If they're modifying their defenses, we should consider altering our attack patterns. We can't afford to be predictable." Alara nodded in agreement. "Initiate simulations for alternative firing patterns and prepare to test them against their new shield configurations." As the crew worked diligently, Alara's thoughts drifted back to the alien commander's earlier words, respect through strength. The balance between aggression and diplomacy weighed heavily on her shoulders. They had successfully demonstrated their capabilities, but now they needed to ensure that this newfound respect would not devolve into hostility. "Captain, incoming transmission from the alien command ship," Jenna Lee announced, her voice breaking through Alara's contemplation. On screen, Alara commanded. The holographic display flickered to life, revealing the alien commander once more. Its scales shimmered with hues of blue and green, reflecting a mix of emotions, curiosity intertwined with apprehension. "Captain Voss," it began, its voice resonating with an otherworldly cadence. "We have analyzed your combat capabilities and recognize your strength. However, we must also prepare for potential escalation should hostilities resume." Alara leaned forward slightly, intrigued by the alien's admission. "You're concerned about further conflict?" "Our species has faced many threats," the commander explained. "We have witnessed civilizations rise and fall due to misunderstandings and fear. We wish to avoid such a fate. Then let us work together," Elara proposed earnestly. We can share knowledge and strategies that benefit both our peoples. A flicker of hesitation crossed the commander's visage before it spoke again. Your offer is appealing, but we must also consider our own security. The galaxy is fraught with dangers, both known and unknown. Before Elara could respond, alarms blared throughout the bridge, cutting through the tense atmosphere like a knife. Multiple quantum ruptures detected. Reyes shouted as he analyzed the incoming data. It's coming from the outer edges of our sensor range. On screen. Elara ordered, her heart racing as she prepared for whatever threat might emerge. The display revealed chaotic bursts of energy tearing through space-time itself, distorting reality around them. From these ruptures emerged vessels that resembled twisted versions of the alien ships they had encountered earlier, abominations crafted from both biological and mechanical components. What in the universe are those? Dr. Chen gasped as she scrutinized the readings. They appear to be hybrids, Commander Jane reported grimly from his station. A mix of your technology and theirs, corrupted by some external force. The lead vessel broadcast a message filled with static and distortion that echoed ominously throughout the bridge. The old ways fall today. We will take your technologies by force and prove that progress cannot be contained. Elara's expression hardened as she assessed the situation unfolding before her. They're separatists, those who reject cooperation in favor of chaos. Captain, Reyes interjected urgently, we're detecting 37 hostile vessels closing in fast. They've positioned themselves between us and the alien fleet. Elara quickly processed their options. They were outnumbered and faced an unpredictable enemy that threatened not only their mission but potentially their very existence. Prepare for battle, she commanded decisively. All hands to battle stations. Tactical, I want you to target their lead ship, disable it if possible. Aye, Captain. Jane responded as he initiated targeting protocols. Dr. Chen, Elara continued, focus on our defensive systems first, we need to ensure we can withstand whatever they throw at us. As her crew sprang into action, Elara felt a surge of adrenaline course through her veins, the familiar rush of combat readiness igniting her instincts as a leader. The enemy vessels surged forward with reckless abandon, their erratic movements suggested desperation rather than strategy. Plasma bolts erupted from their weapon ports, illuminating the darkness of space with deadly brilliance. Shields holding at 90%. Dr. Chen reported as energy beams struck against their quantum defenses. Return fire. Elara ordered fiercely. The Valkyrie unleashed its own barrage of quantum phase beams, brilliant lances of energy sliced through space toward the lead separatist vessel. The precision of humanity's technology proved effective as one direct hit sent shockwaves rippling through its hull. Direct hit. Jane shouted triumphantly as he monitored damage reports from their sensors. But victory was short-lived. More separatist ships joined the fray, launching coordinated assaults that overwhelmed their defenses momentarily. We're taking heavy fire. Reyes yelled as alarms blared across the bridge. Shields down to 70%. Reinforce starboard shields. Divert power from non-essential systems if necessary. Elara commanded with urgency. Dr. Chen's fingers flew over her console as she redirected energy flows while maintaining fire on their attackers. The Valkyrie's weapon systems hummed with power as they unleashed another volley at approaching foes. We've disabled 2 more vessels. Jane reported amid chaos as debris floated past them in space, a testament to both sides' ferocity in battle. Yet despite their efforts, it became clear that these separatists were not just mindless aggressors, they fought with an intensity born from desperation, a desire for recognition amidst a galaxy that had long overlooked them. Captain! Jenna shouted suddenly over the din of alarms and explosions echoing throughout the bridge. We're receiving a distress signal from one of the disabled ships, it's an emergency transmission. Elara hesitated for a moment before responding, could this be an opportunity? She weighed her options carefully, could they risk further engagement or would this be seen as weakness? Patch it through, she instructed cautiously. The screen flickered again, revealing an image of an alien crew trapped aboard one of their damaged vessels, their expressions filled with fear and urgency. "We need help. Our ship is failing. We can't hold out much longer against them," one alien pleaded desperately through static interference. Elara felt a pang of empathy. These beings were caught in a conflict not entirely of their making, a reflection of humanity's own struggles throughout history. "Lieutenant Reyes," she said firmly, "can we stabilize their systems long enough for them to escape?" "I can try," he replied quickly while analyzing data streams flashing across his console. "Do it. We'll cover them while they make repairs." As Reyes initiated emergency protocols aimed at stabilizing life support systems aboard the stricken vessel, Elara turned back toward Jane and Dr. Chen with renewed determination. "We need to hold off those separatists long enough for them to escape. Focus fire on any ships targeting them." "Yes, Captain." Jane responded without hesitation as he relayed orders throughout tactical channels. With renewed vigor coursing through her crew members' veins, they fought valiantly against overwhelming odds, each pulse of energy fired representing not just defense but hope for those trapped within chaos around them. As plasma bolts lit up space like fireworks against darkness surrounding them, allies forged in adversity began emerging amidst turmoil, a testament proving that even in conflict there existed opportunities for understanding if only one dared reach out across divides formed by fear or misunderstanding. In this momentary lull between attacks came clarity. Perhaps there was more at stake than just survival, it was about forging connections even amidst chaos. Elara steeled herself against uncertainty ahead. This battle was far from over, but within its heart lay potential waiting patiently beneath layers forged by time itself. Diplomacy amidst chaos. The tension on the TSS Hyperion was palpable as Captain Elara Voss stood at the helm, her eyes scanning the tactical displays that flickered with data streams and energy signatures. The recent confrontation with the Sci-Fi had opened a door to potential cooperation, but now, that door threatened to close under the weight of chaos. The separatists had emerged from the quantum ruptures, their vessels a grotesque amalgamation of technology and biology, a stark reminder of what could happen when fear and desperation took hold. "Captain, we're detecting 37 hostile vessels," Lieutenant Marco Reyes reported, his voice steady despite the urgency of the situation. "They're using a hybrid of Sci-Fi biological technology and stolen quantum weapons." Elara's jaw tightened as she processed this information. "What's their current status?" "They've formed a blockade between us and the Sci-Fi fleet," Reyes continued. "Their energy readings are unstable. Whatever they've done to their ships, it's causing them to tear themselves apart. Prepare for combat." Elara commanded, her voice firm as she steeled herself for the impending conflict. "Tactical, I want defensive maneuvers initiated immediately. We need to protect our allies and ourselves." Dr. Lila Chen, the ship's chief weapons officer, quickly adjusted her console. "Shields are at full power, but we may need to divert energy to our weapon systems if they engage." "Let's hope it doesn't come to that," Elara replied grimly. "Open a channel to Echo of Stars, we need to coordinate with the Sci-Fi." The alien commander's holographic image materialized on screen, its scales shifting colors in response to the unfolding crisis. "Captain Voss," it began, its voice resonating with urgency, "the outcasts are unpredictable and dangerous. They have no regard for stability or cooperation." "I understand," Elara said, her tone firm yet diplomatic. "But we cannot allow them to threaten our alliance or destabilize this sector further. We must act decisively." Echo of Stars nodded, its multiple eyes blinking in agreement. "We will assist you in any way we can. Our biological systems may be vulnerable, but we can still fight alongside you." As Elara prepared for battle, she couldn't shake off the feeling that this conflict was not just a test of military strength but also an opportunity for understanding, a chance to demonstrate that cooperation could prevail even in the face of chaos. "Captain." Reyes interrupted her thoughts, his voice rising above the din of alarms. The Separatists are powering up their weapons. They're preparing to fire. Evasive maneuvers. Ilara shouted as she gripped the armrest of her command chair. All hands brace for impact. The Hyperion surged forward as Ilara commanded evasive maneuvers while plasma bolts erupted from the lead Separatist vessel, illuminating space with deadly brilliance. The ship's quantum shields absorbed some of the energy blasts, but others struck home, causing jolts that reverberated throughout the vessel. Shields holding at 80%. Dr. Chen reported as she redirected power flows to compensate for incoming fire. Return fire with selective targeting. Ilara ordered fiercely. Focus on their lead ship, disable it if possible. The Hyperion unleashed its own barrage of quantum phase beams, brilliant lances of energy sliced through space toward their attackers. The lead Separatist vessel took a direct hit, its shields flickering before collapsing under the assault. Direct hit. Their lead ship is disabled. Jane reported from tactical. But victory was fleeting. More Separatist ships joined the fray, launching coordinated assaults that overwhelmed their defenses momentarily. We're taking heavy fire. Reyes shouted as alarms blared across the bridge. Shields down to 70%. Reinforce starboard shields. Divert power from non-essential systems if necessary. Ilara commanded urgently. As chaos erupted around them, Ilara felt a surge of determination wash over her, the knowledge that they were fighting not just for survival but for something greater, a chance at understanding and cooperation amidst conflict. Captain. Jenna Lee called out from communications. We're receiving a distress signal from one of the disabled Siri ships, it's an emergency transmission. Ilara hesitated, could this be an opportunity? She weighed her options carefully. Could they risk further engagement or would this be seen as weakness? Patch it through, she instructed cautiously. The screen flickered again, revealing an image of an alien crew trapped aboard one of their damaged vessels, their expressions filled with fear and urgency. We need help. Our ship is failing. We can't hold out much longer against them, one alien pleaded desperately through static interference. Ilara felt a pang of empathy. These beings were caught in a conflict not entirely of their making, a reflection of humanity's own struggles throughout history. Lieutenant Reyes, she said firmly, can we stabilize their systems long enough for them to escape? I can try, he replied quickly while analyzing data streams flashing across his console. Do it. We'll cover them while they make repairs. As Reyes initiated emergency protocols aimed at stabilizing life support systems aboard the stricken vessel, Ilara turned back toward Jane and Dr. Chen with renewed determination. We need to hold off those Separatists long enough for them to escape. Focus fire on any ships targeting them. Yes, Captain. Jane responded without hesitation as he relayed orders throughout tactical channels. With renewed vigor coursing through her crew members' veins, they fought valiantly against overwhelming odds, each pulse of energy fired representing not just defense but hope for those trapped within chaos around them. As plasma bolts lit up space like fireworks against darkness surrounding them, allies forged in adversity began emerging amidst turmoil, a testament proving that even in conflict there existed opportunities for understanding if only one dared reach out across divides formed by fear or misunderstanding. In this momentary lull between attacks came clarity. Perhaps there was more at stake than just survival, it was about forging connections even amidst chaos. Ilara steeled herself against uncertainty ahead. This battle was far from over, but within its heart lay potential waiting patiently beneath layers forged by time itself. The battle raged on as both sides fought fiercely for dominance in this chaotic expanse of space, their destinies intertwined in ways neither could have anticipated. Ilara knew that every decision made now would ripple through time, shaping not just their fates but potentially altering perceptions across galaxies. As she prepared herself mentally for what lay ahead, she couldn't shake off feeling that perhaps today would mark a turning point, not just for humanity but also for those who had once been enemies. With every passing moment came new revelations, new opportunities waiting patiently beneath layers forged by time itself. The rise of the outcasts. The tentative peace between humanity and the Sci-Fi forces lasted exactly 6 standard days before everything changed. Captain Alaric Thorne was reviewing preliminary technology exchange protocols in his ready room when Lieutenant Mira Vasquez's voice cut through the quiet. "Captain, to the bridge. Emergency. Multiple quantum ruptures detected." Alaric's heart raced as he sprinted to the command center of the TSS Hyperion. He arrived just in time to witness massive tears in spacetime erupting around their ship. From these wounds in reality emerged vessels that looked like corrupted versions of the Sci-Fi ships they had encountered before. "Report," he barked, taking his command position as the ship's AI materialized beside him, its holographic form flickering with urgency. 37 hostile vessels, Commander Jane reported, his neural implants pulsing rapidly as he analyzed the situation. "They're using a hybrid of Sci-Fi biological technology and stolen quantum weapons." "Echo of Stars is hailing us," Mira announced, her fingers flying over her console. The image of the Sci-Fi commander appeared on screen, his scales now a mottled gray of distress. "Captain Thorne, these are the outcasts," Echo of Stars explained, his voice tinged with urgency. "They refuse to accept our species' traditional ways. They've been stealing technology from across the galaxy, integrating it without understanding or care for the consequences. Their ships are abominations." Dr. Lila Patel, the ship's chief science officer, scanned the readings with her augmented eyes. "The biological and mechanical components are fighting each other," she reported grimly. "They're literally tearing themselves apart to maintain power." The lead separatist vessel broadcast on all frequencies, its message filled with static and distortion. "The old ways fall today. We will take your technologies by force and prove that progress cannot be contained." Alaric's expression hardened as he assessed the tactical situation. The outcasts had positioned themselves between the Hyperion and their Sci-Fi allies, their aggressive posturing a clear declaration of war. "Prepare for battle," Alaric commanded, his voice steady but firm. "All hands to battle stations. Tactical, initiate defensive protocols and prepare to engage." As alarms blared throughout the ship, crew members sprang into action, each knowing their role in this critical moment. The Hyperion's massive frame hummed with energy as its advanced defensive systems powered up, layers of quantum shields enveloping it like a protective cocoon. "Captain," Jane said urgently, "the outcasts are advancing rapidly. They're targeting our propulsion systems." "Divert power to shields and weapons," Alaric ordered without hesitation. "We need to hold them off long enough for Echo of Stars to regroup with his fleet." The bridge was filled with tension as crew members monitored incoming threats on their displays. Alaric could feel the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. This was no longer just about humanity's survival but about securing a fragile alliance that had taken years to cultivate. "Enemy vessels are firing," Mira shouted as brilliant streaks of plasma lit up space like fireworks against a dark canvas. "Evasive maneuvers," Alaric commanded, gripping his chair tightly as the Hyperion swerved to avoid incoming fire. "Return fire. Selective targeting only, disable their ships without destroying them if possible." Quantum phase beams lanced out from concealed ports along their hull, striking enemy vessels with precision. Explosions rippled through the ranks of outcast ships as they struggled to maintain cohesion amidst chaos. "We're breaching their shields," Jane reported triumphantly as another enemy vessel was disabled by a direct hit. But even as they fought back against the outcasts, Alaric knew that this was only a skirmish in what could become a larger conflict. The outcasts' reckless pursuit of power threatened not just humanity but all civilizations in this sector. "Echo of Stars," Alaric said urgently as he turned to face the Sci-Fi commander's image on screen again. "We need your fleet to assist us. Your biological technology may be able to counteract their hybrids." "We are ready," Echo of Stars replied, determination shining in his multiple eyes. "But we must coordinate our efforts carefully. these outcasts will not hesitate to destroy anything that stands in their way. As they continued to exchange fire with the outcasts, Alaric felt a flicker of hope ignite within him. Perhaps this alliance could withstand even this threat if they worked together. "Jane," he said decisively, "I want you to work with Echo of Stars on a joint tactical maneuver that combines our technologies." "Yes, Captain." Jane replied eagerly as he began relaying information to Echo of Stars. With renewed vigor, Alaric focused on the battle unfolding around them. The Hyperion's crew worked seamlessly together, each member understanding that their survival depended on unity and cooperation. "Captain!" Mira called out suddenly, her voice sharp with urgency. "We have incoming ships from behind, the outcasts are flanking us." Alaric cursed under his breath, they were outnumbered and outmaneuvered. "Divert all power to rear shields. Prepare for close-quarters combat." As enemy vessels closed in around them, Alaric felt adrenaline surge through him. This was what he had trained for, this was where humanity would prove its mettle against overwhelming odds. The Hyperion twisted and turned amidst enemy fire, its advanced maneuverability allowing it to weave through incoming projectiles while returning fire with deadly accuracy. "Focus fire on that lead vessel," Alaric commanded as he pointed at an approaching ship that appeared heavily armed yet unstable, a perfect target for their combined efforts. Quantum beams lanced out once more, striking true and sending shockwaves through the enemy ranks as explosions erupted in vivid colors against the backdrop of space. But even as they fought valiantly against overwhelming numbers, Alaric knew that this battle was only a precursor to something much larger, a confrontation that could decide not just their fate but that of countless civilizations across the galaxy. "Echo of Stars," he said urgently over comms as he continued issuing commands amid chaos around them. "We need your fleet now more than ever. We are coming." Echo of Stars responded fiercely just as another wave of Sci-Fi ships emerged from behind asteroids, gliding into formation alongside Hyperion's crew like guardians ready for battle. With renewed strength coursing through them all together, humanity and Sci-Fi alike, the tide began turning against those who sought destruction instead cooperation. Hope ignited within every heart aboard this ship, a belief that together they could forge a future free from fear or tyranny. As both fleets engaged side by side against their common foe, the outcasts, Alaric felt a surge of pride swell within him. Humanity had faced many challenges before but never had they stood shoulder to shoulder with allies forged through understanding rather than conflict alone. The battle raged on fiercely, plasma bolts illuminated space while ships danced amidst destruction, all fighting for survival against an enemy determined not only destroy but also prove superiority over those who dared defy them. And yet amid chaos surrounding them all, hope blossomed like stars shining brightly against darkness, a promise that perhaps one day peace would prevail even amongst those who once stood divided by fear alone. A new dawn. The battle raged on as the TSS Hyperion and its Sci-Fi allies fought valiantly against the Outcasts, a faction of their former allies who had chosen the path of chaos and destruction. Captain Sarah Chen stood resolute at the command center, her heart pounding as she directed her crew through the tumultuous storm of plasma bolts and energy shields. The stakes had never been higher, and the outcome of this conflict would determine not just their survival but the future of their newfound alliance. "Captain, we've lost contact with Echo of Stars," Lieutenant Rodriguez shouted over the cacophony of alarms and explosions. "His fleet is engaged with the Outcasts on multiple fronts. Re-establish communication." Sarah commanded, her voice steady despite the chaos. "We need to coordinate our efforts. If we can't unite against this threat, we risk losing everything we've fought for." As her crew scrambled to regain contact, Sarah's mind raced with strategies. The Outcasts were relentless, their hybrid ships moving with a ferocity that defied logic. They were a twisted amalgamation of Sci-Fi technology and stolen quantum weaponry, and their tactics were unpredictable, born from desperation rather than discipline. "Captain!" Dr. Lila Patel called out from her station, her augmented eyes scanning incoming data streams. "The Outcasts are deploying a new weapon. Energy signatures are off the charts. Divert power to forward shields. Sarah ordered, her heart sinking as she realized the gravity of their situation. Prepare for impact. A brilliant flash lit up the viewport as an enormous energy wave surged toward them, tearing through space like a comet. The Hyperion shuddered violently as the wave collided with its shields, sending shockwaves reverberating through the ship. Shields holding at 70%. Jane reported, his fingers flying over his console as he monitored their systems. But they're adapting. Their weaponry is evolving in real time. Then we need to outsmart them, Sarah replied, determination igniting within her. Tactical, initiate evasive maneuvers. We'll use hit-and-run tactics to disrupt their formations. As the Hyperion danced through space, weaving between incoming fire and returning shots with precision, Sarah felt a surge of hope. They had faced insurmountable odds before, they could do it again. Captain! Mira shouted from her station. We've re-established contact with Echo of Stars. He's requesting immediate tactical support. Patch him through. Sarah commanded, her heart racing as the image of the Sci-Fi commander flickered onto the main screen. Captain Chen, Echo of Stars said urgently, his iridescent scales reflecting a mix of determination and fear. The outcasts are regrouping for a massive assault. We must strike now while they are vulnerable. Agreed, Sarah replied, formulating a plan in her mind. We'll coordinate our attacks. Your biological technology combined with our quantum weaponry will give us an edge. As they exchanged strategies, a sense of unity blossomed between the two fleets. The Sci-Fi ships began to maneuver alongside the Hyperion, forming a formidable line against their common enemy. On my mark, Sarah said firmly as she watched the outcast vessels begin to coalesce into a single formation, a sign that they were preparing for something catastrophic. 3, 2, 1, mark, she shouted. With precision timing, both fleets unleashed their firepower simultaneously. Quantum phase beams and biological energy blasts surged toward the outcasts like a storm unleashed upon an unsuspecting shore. The impact was devastating, explosions rippled through the ranks of outcast ships as their shields faltered under the combined assault. For a moment, it seemed as if victory was within reach. But then came a chilling realization, from within the chaos emerged an even larger vessel, an abomination crafted from twisted metal and organic matter that pulsed ominously with energy. What is that? Lila gasped, horror etched across her features. Their flagship, Jane replied grimly. It's absorbing energy from its surroundings, growing stronger by the second. We need to target that ship. Sarah shouted over the din of battle. If we destroy it, we can break their morale. As if sensing their intent, the flagship unleashed a devastating wave of energy that swept across space like a tidal wave, striking both Sci-Fi and human vessels alike. Casualties reported on both sides. Mira cried out as alarms blared throughout the bridge. Divert all power to shields. We can't let this ship break our lines. Sarah ordered fiercely, gripping her command chair tightly as she felt the ship shudder under another impact. The Hyperion's shields flared brightly as they absorbed yet another blow, but Sarah knew they couldn't hold out forever against such overwhelming force. We need to get closer, she said resolutely. Our quantum weapons will be more effective at short range. Captain, Jane warned, his voice filled with concern. That flagship will tear us apart if we get too close. It's a risk we have to take, Sarah replied firmly. Prepare for close-quarters combat. We'll use our agility to outmaneuver them. As they closed in on the flagship, Sarah felt adrenaline surge through her veins, the thrill of battle mingling with fear for her crew's safety. They were about to enter uncharted territory, but sometimes in war, one had to take risks to achieve victory. Engage thrusters, she commanded as they veered sharply toward the enemy flagship. The Hyperion danced through incoming fire like a predator stalking its prey, every maneuver calculated to evade destruction while positioning themselves for an optimal strike. Ready quantum phase cannons. Jane shouted as they drew nearer, the massive flagship looming ominously before them like a dark omen. With precision timing honed through countless drills and simulations, Sarah barked out commands, fire at will. Brilliant beams of energy lanced out from their cannons, striking true against the flagship's hull and sending shockwaves reverberating throughout its structure. But even as they struck blows against it, Sarah could see that it was far from defeated. Its adaptive systems were working overtime to repair damage while unleashing retaliatory fire that threatened to engulf them all. "We need to breach its core," Lila shouted urgently as she monitored energy readings on her console. "If we can destabilize it from within, then let's do it," Sarah replied fiercely. "All hands prepare for boarding maneuvers. We'll take this fight inside." With determination coursing through her veins like fire, she led her crew into action, boarding pods deployed toward the flagship as they prepared for hand-to-hand combat against whatever horrors awaited them inside. As they breached the enemy vessel's hull, a cacophony of alarms blaring around them, Sarah felt fear grip her heart, but she pushed it aside in favor of resolve. This was humanity's fight now. Inside was chaos, a twisted labyrinth filled with pulsating organic machinery that writhed underfoot like living creatures desperate to defend themselves from intruders. "Stay together," Sarah shouted over comms as they moved deeper into enemy territory. Every step taken resonated with purpose, their mission clear: find and destroy whatever powered this monstrosity. They fought fiercely against outcast defenders, each confrontation showcasing humanity's tenacity in battle, every victory fueled by adrenaline coursing through them all. Finally reaching what appeared to be a central chamber filled with swirling energy, the heart of this abomination, they prepared for one final push against overwhelming odds. With weapons raised high, their resolve unyielding, they charged forward into darkness ready to face whatever awaited them beyond. In that moment, a realization washed over Sarah: this was not just about survival, it was about forging a new path forward, a testament that even in darkness there could be light if only one dared reach out for it. And so they pressed on, determined not only to defeat an enemy but also prove that hope could emerge from despair, that unity could conquer division, and together they would rise stronger than ever before.